From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Well, it's Sunday evening, a bit on the scruffy side here. You know, it's interesting. I don't typically shave on the weekends. I thought, you know what, I'm just not going to continue to do that here. My wife actually kind of likes the scruffy look. What do you think? Maybe I'll do some kind of vote on this to see if this is something that might be permanent. I don't know. It seems a little scruffy for on the air, but we'll see. Take a look at this. The thing is, I've been doing this for over a month now, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows all the different places you can get me. Bottom line is this: I'm not on actual TV, the airwaves. You can't get an antenna and get Weather NorCal. But if you have internet access, whether it's on your phone, on your TV, or even your computer, you can get Weather NorCal. So Facebook, Twitter, of course now it's the X, whatever that is, right? That's all changing too. YouTube.com/@WeatherNorCal. And there's actually a live channel there. You can also get all of my latest updates, my weather updates in there. As I mentioned, on your TV, if it has internet access and it's a smart TV like a Roku or a Fire Stick, you can get the 24-hour channel. Also, it's coming to Apple TV here quite soon. And if you have a mobile phone, which pretty much everybody does, you can get the app as well on either your Apple or your Android device as well. So a lot of great opportunities for you to get Weather NorCal, and it's just a matter of which one is easiest for you. All right, so here's the deal. Not much change going well into next week. Temperatures are going to kind of go up and down a little bit, but no major increases, no major drops in those temperatures either. Possible mountain thunderstorms. We're beginning to see the potential starting as early as mid next week through the end of next week, even into that next week, and the potential for off and on chances for thunderstorms in parts of the mountains. We'll get into that just a little bit later. And then it's going to be warming up a little bit near the end of next week and into next weekend. So let's take a look at that fire potential, and you can see the yellows indicating the low risk. So we are seeing improving conditions when we're talking about that fire danger out there. That certainly is good news. Overall, the humidity is quite low, and the winds are still a little gusty at times, but instead of the 30 to even upwards of 40 miles per hour we saw even just a few days ago, we're going to be looking at those wind gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour for the eastern mountains, and not as bad for the valley either. So again, you can see these winds, not as much of a factor. They died down as they typically do overnight into the morning hours. And again, we're looking at 20 to 25 miles per hour in the upper teens for the valley. So not much in the way of really gusty winds out there. So that certainly does help when we're talking about fire danger out there. So we do have the storm system up to our north, another one behind that. So these are these colder storm systems that are just continuing to ride to our north. And that's really important because it's preventing the heat that's over the desert southwest from building in as strong as it would like. So as a result, our temperatures have not been really increasing a whole lot, and it's been making it more manageable heat, if you will. It's not cool by any stretch of the imagination, but at least the heat is a bit more manageable. So we take a look at the camera coming in from Redding, just those blue skies out there, not even much in the way of haze coming in. We're not seeing much smoke from the surrounding fires, so that's kind of nice to see as well. There's your hour-by-hour forecast for tonight, low 60s for the valley. So yeah, we're seeing those coolish mornings, and then of course it heats up through the afternoon. Now there's a chance Redding, maybe even Red Bluff, could touch 100 degrees. Latest forecast models are kind of backing off on that potential, so maybe more like the upper 90s pretty much anywhere you go in the valley for your Monday. And take a look at the mountains, upper 80s, maybe some low 90s in there as well. Still not seeing any thunderstorms. That's probably not going to be here till about Wednesday. In fact, we'll take a look at Futurecast and I'll show you here. Here's Tuesday. We're seeing a lot of the mid and high level clouds move in. That's associated with this monsoon moisture that's moving in. So it's going to feel a little bit more muggy out there. We're going to see a few more clouds. We'll call it just some of those high and mid-level clouds. But the thunderstorms are still off to our east. Now, it depends on which forecast model you look at. But essentially, starting as early as Wednesday, and not to mention Thursday, we are seeing the potential for thunderstorms in the southern Cascades and northern Sierra. There's even a chance that sometime around Friday or so, some of those could make their way down as far south as northern Trinity County. So we're on the lookout for that as well. So here we go into Friday. You see the thunderstorms are really close to us, so it's not out of the question for some of those to come into northeastern California. Then we go into Saturday, and it looks like a little bit of a pop-up in these clouds that could equate to an isolated thunderstorm popping up as well. So essentially, here's the bottom line with the chances for thunderstorms. As early as Wednesday, off and on chances all the way through the end of next week and into at least the beginning of next weekend. Then it looks like the chances begin to diminish as we go into Sunday and then, of course, into Monday of next week. But you get the idea, we're seeing that chance. Now let's switch gears and talk about the heat. You see how that heat is diving down to the south. Our temperatures are actually dropping a little bit after Monday and Tuesday. And then heat down to the south here will start to rebuild over Southern California. But as long as these storm systems continue to ride to our north, what it's doing is it's pretty much just squashing that ridge of high pressure and the heat along with it. So again, as a result, our temperatures don't increase as much as they could. That being said, we are going to see a bit of an increase in our temperatures toward next weekend and beginning of next week. But overall, it's not going to be a major heat wave. So tonight, we're dropping down probably somewhere in the mid to even upper 60s for the valley and the 50s for most of us in the higher elevations. And for tomorrow, I've got you at 100 degrees, Redding, but I think it may even be a bit of a struggle. We'll have to kind of wait and see. But bottom line, it's going to be just a tad warmer than it has been the last few days. 99 Red Bluff, 90 degrees for Chico, upper 80s, maybe even some low 90s for some of the higher elevations as we take you into your Monday. So look at that 7-day forecast. So here for Mount Shasta, I'm holding off until about Thursday, Friday to see the best chances for thunderstorms. Then maybe a chance lingering on into Saturday before the chances diminish on Sunday. So how about Alturas? Maybe as early as Wednesday. That's also the case for Susanville. I think the best chances will be kind of to the east, Modoc County, Lassen County, Eastern Plumas County, for example. I think all of those will see the best chances starting Wednesday, Thursday, and even into Friday, and maybe even lingering on into Saturday as well. Are we going to see thunderstorms each and every single day? Probably not, but the chances are there. And as we get closer to that time frame, we'll have a better idea of what we can expect with that chance for thunderstorms. All right, so here's your 7-day outlook for the valley. So you see our temperatures are increasing a little bit here for your Monday. Could touch 100 degrees for places like Redding and Red Bluff, maybe not for Chico. But the temperature is actually dropping down to the low to even some mid-90s by Thursday before we see another spike in our temperatures as we get toward the end of this week and into the weekend. In fact, it's getting a little bit warmer. In fact, we could get up to about 105 degrees for Sunday for both Redding and Red Bluff and Chico, about 102 degrees.